I hear that the new king of the kingdom, Grandpa Biden, is speaking right now. See, it says right there. Live now, live breaking. President-elect Biden addresses the nation. Well, guess what? I don't give a fuck about that. Okay? Fuck him. Glad to be rid of the orange idiot, but I don't expect anything good from Biden either. I don't expect anything good from the political class, otherwise known as the parasite class, the oligarchy party with its two fake wings. So let's forget about that shit and get on to a Dougie Town Hall, something we can all agree is much more exciting.
Everybody, and happy fall.
Oh,
a little
look.
fog out there in the morning, but
Look at
getting cooler.
Andrea
I don't know
DeBastin.
about you, but it's my favorite time of year.
Don't tell her face.
And I hope
No,
everybody's
Deanne.
safe and taking care of themselves. Welcome to the town hall today. We have some great panelists to help us and educate us and inform us. And we'll talk to, you got the E3 team here today. So that's going to include Darcy Laufenberg, who's our training and development.
Okay, I'm one of the few people that actually knows what that is. I bet you guys out there in, well, maybe the 5 people that will watch this with me actually know what that is too. That's this pork barrel shit that is called e-learn. It's some kind of online improve your job skills baloney. Pork. I mean, it was a huge contract, like $750,000 if I remember correctly. So you can improve your skills for the office workers. So yes, I actually know what that is. It's got nothing to do with riders or bus drivers. It's, your typical, the TriMet social structure is the same as every other social structure. There's an elite, and then there's the people that do the work. The essential employees are the ones that do all the work and don't get shit for it, while the elites sit at home and type on their computers. It's quite a country, quite a world we got here, isn't
it? Program manager, Sally Peters, our training development coordinator, and Alex DePasquale, administrative assistant, along with Mimi Bernal-Graves, who's also one of our training development coordinators. So we got a great intelligent team.
So they got a whole bunch of people. All of these people are like pork barrel people.
Know them. So for those who don't,
we got pork
you're
barrels
lost,
everywhere.
And it's about to be your game. So stay tuned. More to come. Anyway, I hope everybody's staying safe and secure here. And also, I've got a number of updates, and then we'll get right back into the main attraction, which is Team E3. So particularly around mental wellness, intellectual wellness. So few updates for us, everybody, today. The face shield guidance. So hopefully by now, everybody has seen the posts and emails and flat screens about the most recent, that just was published, OHA or Oregon Health Authority guidance impacting all of our society, including us as employees. The bottom line here is that you need to we're wearing face coverings only. You need to wear a mask and a face covering at the same time. So not just the face shield alone anymore because of transmission of the particles. If you need an ADA accommodation, of course, for wearing a face shield only, that's okay. But I'm just going to ask, make sure that you go to our COVID leave portal and fill out the request. And there is a deadline on this. If you can get this filled out by November 6th, it would really be appreciated. So we want to expedite them as quickly as possible. So thank you. In terms of COVID, never leaves us until we get the vaccine here, or we get it under control a little more.
Vaccine. What is really the truth with COVID? I wish we really knew. We don't know, do we? Because everything is a lie from every direction, and they're constantly fucking with our heads 24 hours a day. We don't know what's going on. It's a real virus. There's no doubt about that. But the agenda that's behind this is satanic. There's an agenda behind this COVID, which is going to cause millions and billions of people to die. Not because of the COVID, but because of the agenda behind the COVID.
Unfortunately, as we can probably all see, whether you watch MSNBC, KGW, Channel 2 TV.
If you watch mainstream media, you're getting brainwashed. Don't watch it.
Wherever you get your news from, we're seeing across this country, around the world, Germany, France have now gone into full lockdown again.
Full lockdown again, I mean. Fintan O'Toole, trial runs for fascism, Irish Times. How do you lock down a whole country? Okay, have anybody ever heard of that? I mean, I can understand that if like millions were dying every day. But this is not the case, is it?
We're even seeing this here, big upticks in almost all the states. Same thing here, an uptick.
I said from the very beginning, masks should have been mandated from the very beginning, and that's it. Masks are mandated in public settings where people are congregating. You don't have to wear a mask if you're driving by yourself in your car. I mean, I actually see people doing that. It's like, are you fucking tripping, man? God damn.
Here in Oregon as well. So we're not exempt from this. And they're expecting more to come. So that has not escaped here at TriMet either. So we've seen a slight trend upgrade in our own.
I mean, I could see this if there was like 1 billion people that are dead or something. That's not what's happening, okay? This is not the Black Death. Yeah, a lot of people are dying because there's no goddamn fucking health facilities for them. That's what's the problem, is that we don't have the proper healthcare system set up. Only the rich are getting what they need, like Trump. He got 12 doctors taking care of him. Look, he's all better. Well, you ain't going to get that if you're a fucking bus driver and you get this shit.
Cases for with October being our highest month of confirmed cases. So this month, we're just finishing up now. We've had 7 cases. That brings ourselves to 22 cases that we know are identified. In our case, of those 22, we know at least 4 were transmitted from sources other than a TriMet.
Yeah, but none of the
we sometimes don't know where they came from. But in those
22 cases, how many people work there at TriMet? Like 3,000, is it? 2,500? That's not very many, and it hasn't killed anybody. I mean, one Lyft driver has died. We were talking about this on Twitter. One Lyft driver has died. Now, you work in New York City, a whole bunch of people died over this. And that was the MTA's fault because they wouldn't even let them wear masks in the beginning. Talk about your horrible transit management. Jesus.
Those 4 we knew they didn't come from us. So our net result is 22. Our questionable numbers around 18, around where they may have come from. All in all, for the number of employees we have and for the work environment that we all have to live in, our results, frankly,
wait a minute. Okay, stop the presses for a second here because I want to talk about something since I have this on. You know, this is part of my anarchist history of TriMet blog, which someday will be a good history when I'm dead and gone. People look back and say, oh, yeah, who was that guy? What was he all about anyway? I want to talk about this for a minute. Okay. I want to read this here. This is about the payroll tax thing that got rejected. Okay, now let me read a little bit about this. Metro's payroll tax to employers to fund billions in transportation projects ran into deep voter opposition. And what will happen next is unclear. Well, we know what's going to happen next. They're going to try to find another way to get the money, just like they did with the yellow line. A light rail line to Bridgeport Village, the culmination of years of planning. Yeah, now think about this. They started doing all of this before they had the money to do it. This is your perfect example of how government operates. They had no plan to fund it, but they spent, I bet you it's hundreds of millions. We have no way to know, but I'm sure it's hundreds of millions, and we're talking about technocracy. Engineers, planners, directors, all of these bureaucrats in their meetings. You see it all in the board meetings. Safety projects contemplated for decades on dangerous roads like 82nd Outlet will continue as a mere thought bubble. Well, why don't you, they're like saying we have no other money. We just can't do it without this money. We're just going to let you die because we've already used up all the other money. TriMet, the largest diesel fuel user in the state, missed out on a critical funding source. Yeah, the people. A source. We're a funding source. This is how the elites think of you. Missed out on a critical funding source. That's you. That's how that right there tells you what these elites think of you. You are the funding source. You are the way they get money. You are the one that keeps the elites in a job. Of course, it comes with it banks on a way to help move away from polluting towards clean energy. Well, let me tell you something. Turning the whole TriMet fleet into gas electric isn't going to do a damn thing for climate change, okay? It's a lie. A long-fought effort to provide transit passes for all Tri-County heights remains a pipe dream. Yeah, right, remains a pipe dream. Well, meanwhile, you've spent hundreds of millions planning a project that you had no funding for. See how this is so propaganda. It's so obvious to anybody that knows this. The layman will read it and they don't know they're being lied to. This is just a blatant lie. Defeat was an outlier for Portland proper, where voters frequently approve big-ticket sales and spending plans because they're morons. It's the first significant ballot defeat in Oregon's largest city since 2011, when voters rejected a public school district bond. The district returned and passed a similar bond the next year. Well, okay, so in other words, they're going to come back next year. That's what they're going to do. See? They're telling you right there. They're going to come back next year. But in a jam-packed ballot, the payroll tax stood out because of well-funded opposition, right? Blame it all on the opposition. They always make it sound like the citizens are too stupid to figure anything out themselves. Well, it's probably actually true, but I'll say one thing for the Portland area citizens. They are a more intelligent human being, generally speaking. Okay, they're not stupid. Okay, they're not a stupid bunch of people. Just look at the Twitter, like the Opal people and all of those people. These are not dumb people. These are younger people that know the deal. There's nothing to do with them putting TV ads on. These people don't watch that. Nobody involved in opposing the project disputed that some form of transportation package was necessary. Yeah, steal our money, but how to pay for it and how it should be shaped to gain the votes is unclear. The hard feelings between some of the large employers who must adamantly oppose the measure remain. Neither side is pleased. Look, they were successful in misinforming the voters. This is a blatant lie. Blatant lie. This is mainstream media here. Okay, see, they're coming back. They're telling you. Peterson deferred on what a potential might look like, saying there's a coalition community. They're coming back, folks. The one thing you can say about the criminal parasite class is they will keep coming back to fool you over and over and over until they get what they want, because they know people are stupid. I'm not going to read anymore. All right. This is just mainstream media baloney. Back to this.
Even hear from my counterparts in different parts of the country, they can't believe what our results are. Even one of the heads of the FDA, Jane Williams, had commented directly to me. She was just blown away by when I shared with her some of our results as well. So
here we go again.
It doesn't matter if it hits you. The goal is not to hit you or your family. So this is all about risk reduction, taking the steps, just like many years ago. I'm aging myself by saying this. When we all...
He's done congratulating himself, so we'll turn off the music.
Used to grab a seatbelt in a car going, God, I have to put this on? And it felt really uncomfortable. Now we wouldn't even think about wearing a seatbelt. It's just the only thing to do. So it's been absorbed into our culture. We would consider going out in a construction zone without steel toe boots. we wouldn't consider wearing it without a busy vest. At first, it's uncomfortable. I don't like wearing
Wait
them.
a minute.
But boy,
Oh my God, he's saying that we're going to go out with masks for the rest of our lives? Is that what he's saying? This is the new world order. This is the COVID world order here. I'm so glad to be old now because, I would hate to be 20-something and trying to survive unless you're born into one of the elite families. I mean, the entire working class is going to get wiped out here. And that's why they vote for Trump, because they know Trump will destroy everything, and they'd rather him destroy everything and go down with him than just go down alone.
I'd rather wear a mask than a ventilator any day. So I encourage us all to take those precautions.
Yeah, there's no reason not to wear the mask. Let's be honest. Right now, there's no reason not to on the public train. As a matter of fact, Boston's instituted a fine, $300 if you're on that system without a mask. There's no decent excuse not to. It's just a temporary inconvenience.
Cautionary steps. We also buy insurance in the hope that we don't need it. This is all part of risk and insurance reduction. It doesn't stop things from happening, but it just really drops the numbers, the chances of it. So please practice good vigilance for yourselves, your family, the people you care for. Okay, and that includes wear a mask, manage social distancing, wash your hands.
Boy, look at this guy.
I actually, at my own place here, I take my temperature 3 times a day, believe it or not. So that's something I just chosen to do. I know that's over the top.
He takes his temperature 3 times a day. He just said that.
For some, that's okay. But that's what I choose to do. So you have to manage your program as well. But we're here to help support you manage that program, including, yes, bus shields, things of those natures, including the foggers we have. They get rid of 99.999, whatever it is, percent of the bacteria and disinfect the germs that are out there.
That's good, but they only do that at the end of the night. That doesn't help during the day, unless you're going to do it at the end of every trip.
So thanks for continuing with it. On the line of continuing with the COVID survey in COVID, I want to thank everybody who's participated in the recent survey, the experience survey on COVID. I never thought we'd be doing a survey on what your experience with the COVID environment looked like, but here we are. We're going to go do it, right? And we are doing it. The results are being tallied right now. In fact, just before I came on here, we're going to have the survey results being tallied as we speak, presented to the executive director team coming up in the next week or few weeks. And then we'll get that out to each of the departments to say, okay, what is it we need to learn? What's working? Where do we need to improve and shore some things up? What are game time adjustments might we need to consider that make sense for everybody, that's pragmatic and reasonable? So stay tuned. More to come on that. That's the last of COVID, unless there'll be questions later at the end. So hopefully I haven't worn everybody out on that yet. The next topic I've got is the Gresham Max Improvement Project. So big thanks. That project is now completed on October 17th, not too long ago. It's been a long time in happening, really in 2 phases between the systems work and then the washrooms. So it's great that work is now done. And thanks to all the team, our contractors, and of course our own employees who spent so much time doing all the prep, the planning, and the really great execution. This organization knows how to do projects. We're actually really pretty darn good at it as one of our core muscles. So another good one in the bank. So thanks to everybody. Powell Garage. Well, I was out there myself with Steve Witter, and big congratulations and kudos and shout out to Kate. Doing a great job overseeing that project, McKinnon. The exterior of the main building is complete, including the skylights in the drive aisle. Pretty cool. In fact, I've asked them if they can make sure that the workers out of Powell get a chance to go through and see at least the different stages when it's available. So it's not just watching it from afar. So I think they're going to undertake that. The crews, they're installing the drywall, painting the inside of the main building right now. The old fuel and wash buildings have all been demolished. The area is getting ready for the concrete paving, allow for that'll help with the bus improvement and movements in the yard. The road work improvements adjacent 99th Avenue are complete.
Yeah, all this stuff goes on. No cuts. Bus service, cuts. No cuts here, cuts to the actual service.
I got to tell you, it's a bit tricky getting in and out of there, but it still works. So, but I do want to thank everybody. And the sidewalks will come along with all that work as well, by the way. I do want to thank everybody, particularly the teams and maintenance and the transportation group who work out there every day. We know the building has long served its cycles, done a great job for many, many years for the taxpayer, for ourselves. The cavalry is coming in terms of that building is going to be really skookum cool once it gets to the other side. So, but I really want to thank everybody for their patience and tolerance. Construction is really cool, but it's messy and it's hard, and it really forces people to compromise. So thank you very much for your patience, your tolerance to help us get to this new place. So it'll be a great thing when it's ready, a thing of beauty. So Vision 21, virtual town halls. Yesterday, we hosted a virtual town hall with our customers and discussing the vision and the future of transit service, despite the financial constraints. And we'll be in how do we responding to COVID. I'm happy to share that one of the events was in English. Tonight's, I think it's tonight. Yeah, it is tonight. We'll be in Spanish, en español. So thanks for all the employees who helped to make this happen. There's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes versus when you just like, thanks to Jeffrey Carroll and others, when you just turn on the Zoom, people like me just come on. It's real easy, but all the work happens before. Now, I know at this point we're challenges and struggling with COVID fatigue. I know I am at times. I think the truth is all of us are. It's overwhelming at times. And it's not easy. It's not in our DNA of this mental oppression, this fog, this funk that we've all had to go through. Then you overlay fires. Then you overlay protests and riots.
Yeah, it must not be that easy being general manager of TriMet. I don't envy him, actually. What a shitty job. Someone who makes so much money.
And the economy and elections. And before I forget, and I'm saying this as a Canadian, go vote. Exercise.
I mean, this guy has to be upbeat all the time. He has to cheerlead. He has to play like he knows everything and does everything, and is always helpful and always nice, even while he's cutting your throat. Listen to this guy.
Your democratic right and vote and have no regrets.
Why is a Canadian running this system, by the way? Anybody have an answer to that?
So if I don't say anything else today, now is the time. This is a really important election, but you get to contribute. If you go back and look, there are other elections in other parts of the country that only the difference was 7 votes. So make sure your vote is exercised. Your right is exercised. Your vote. Many countries don't have that right or the privilege of freedom.
We don't have any freedom here either, you fuck. Your own employees, if they don't do what they're told, they're fired. Okay? It doesn't matter who they vote for. You are the head of state when it comes to their job. It doesn't matter who fucking Trump or Biden have nothing to do with TriMet employees working at TriMet. You're the grand exalted dictator. Don't give us this vote shit. Vote for what? For 2 fucking demented old white men? Vote for what? Wheeler? Voting is a fool's errand, man. I got tricked into it only because people that are close to me hated Trump so much that they got me to vote for Biden. And I don't vote for Democrats or Republicans. I did vote for Obama in 2008, which turned out to be a blunder. But I learned my lesson after that, and I never voted for another Democrat or Republican. Oh, no, I did vote for a Republican. I was voting for Republicans for Oregon governor. Okay. Because, I'm tired of the Democratic corruption in Oregon. So I did vote for that. I never vote for Republicans anywhere else except governor of Oregon. And generally, I always vote third parties. I don't vote. I vote green.
I come from a country that does, and so do you. Do not waste your vote.
No, Canada has an actual parliament. It's like it's like a representative democracy, not like this shithole. In this shithole, if you win by 1 vote, if you're say you got Hitler against Mao. Okay, Hitler against JFK. If Hitler gets 1 more vote than JFK, Hitler rules. JFK. Everybody that supports JFK has no voice. In this country, it's fake because the winner takes all. In Canada, it's a parliamentary type of government where you don't have to win it all. You're still going to get some representation. Here, it's winner take all, which is why it's a fake. So if you win by one vote, you control policy, and all the people that didn't like you get no voice. That's why this system is shit.
Thank you for doing that. So it's my own public service announcement. But in terms of...
he is rather funny. I will hand it to him. He can be very humorous.
With the fatigue that we're all facing with all these challenges, I know what everyone's trying to do to hang in there, and everyone, it takes a village. It really does. We have to tap into our partners and also acknowledge when some of us are maybe having an off day. It's okay. We're human. It's okay. But tap into the energy from others in the best way you can get it. But we're here to talk about this today, and we're the wellness team. We got a great wellness team. I talked about them a little bit earlier. And
come on,
November 2nd, calling them the health trails. They're starting next week, and they're running for 6 weeks. All employees and your families are actually invited. So I really want to underscore your families, because when you go home, by the way, and some of you are working from home, you're not so separated. So you're only as good as your family members cross the finish line too of their mental health. So please, I really encourage you to take advantage of the family offering on this as well. So the details have been in several express line posts with links to the registration to make sure you get those questions answered. You'll be asked to track 3 health behaviors. 1 is exercise, 2 gratitude, and 3 meaningful connections in order to complete the challenge. So it should be a lot of fun. And we can. It's also always a friendly reminder to make sure we're taking care of ourselves. We're such doers by the nature of being in this business, in this industry, for others. But don't forget to invest in yourself a little bit too. You can't save yourself. You can't save others if you can't save yourself first. So make sure you invest in yourself. You can start a team challenge. It could be maintenance over to transportation. It could be in all kinds of different ways. Center versus Powell, REM versus bus maintenance. So have some fun with it.
Okay, stop for a minute. Okay, Biden should be better for public transportation funding. That's true. Trump was all about roads, but you have the same situation that Obama did. You have this fucking Senate, which is it's like an electoral college type deal, where a state the size of Rhode Island has the same vote as California, which has the world's 4th largest economy. Our government is a travesty. It's a fake. It's a travesty.
As you can tell over many, many months now that we've been doing these town halls, that you can tell the mental side, not just the physical or the policy side, is important for us all. And so today we have our panelists to talk about the intellectual wellness of ourselves. We're going to continue this conversation. It won't end. So with that, let's get on to the main attraction, the presentation. Darcy, I'll turn over to TV3 and over to you.
Thanks so much, Doug. It's great to be here today. And we have the E3 team here, as well as Mimi Graves, who is representing the Operations Training Group. So
it's all female.
We'll get to hear from everybody today. So Jeff, next slide, please.
Okay, what do we got?
So today we'll be covering what is intellectual wellness. I'll talk about that a little bit and the history of learning and development here at TriMet. We'll hear about Open Sesame.
Hear that noise? I keep hearing that goddamn noise in the background. Whoever is in charge of recording this shit is breathing into the microphone or something, because you keep hearing that noise.
Soon to come learning management system that we have. And then wrap things up about 20 or so minutes from now, thinking about actionable ways that we can support intellectual well-being. Next slide, please.
I'm already 30 minutes into this.
So if you Google or search for intellectual wellness, there'll be dozens of definitions that come up. And first and foremost, I think it's important to point out that this isn't about building your IQ. This is about really doing mentally stimulating activities, whatever that may be for you. And that's really the trick, to figure out what helps you engage, to be more creative in what you're doing, how you can build your knowledge and skills, and how you can help others build knowledge and skills as well. Next slide, please, Jeff. So earlier, Doug talked about the Wellness Committee.
All right, wait,
and
just a second
they've done.
Well, I don't want to get into politics, but I mean, okay, I'm just looking at this. Apparently, Eric Garcetti, mayor of the richest city in the world with the worst public transportation, will be named the head of Biden's public transportation. Jesus, Biden.
A great job of introducing the 8 dimensions of wellness. We've covered a few of those in town hall so far. I know there are more to come. So again, today we're focusing on intellectual wellness as being part of one of the 8 dimensions of wellness. So it really is about expanding your knowledge and skills, creating resiliency, brain plasticity, which I'll talk about that in a little bit more. Next slide, please. So some of the components of intellectual wellness and what it can really bring out in you as you stimulate your brain is having curiosity. So thinking about things in new ways, trying new things, being open to hearing about possibilities, that exploration factor. Motivation as well. So what really do you have a passion for and an interest for?
I like TriMet.
Can drive and can keep you moving. Resiliency, probably now more than ever, as much as we hear sort of these are unprecedented times, and that may start to sound a little cliche, they really are unprecedented times. And so there are aspects of things that are out of your control. But one thing that can be in your control is continuing to learn and grow and develop and stimulate your mind to build that resiliency. Mindfulness can be a part of any work you do. They're finding that if you're experiencing stress, everything in terms of your wellness is impacted. You don't feel like working out or being healthy. Your emotional and mental state is impacted by stress. So much the same way, if you reduce your stress, you'll be better able to learn and retain information and grow and develop. And there's always that connection aspect. So, of course, we look forward to the day when we can have people sitting in a classroom, working in table groups, meeting new people within TriMet. And there are other ways to stay connected, maybe in your smaller groups as you're learning new things with your friends and your family, or you're doing things in more of a virtual setting. Next slide, please, Jeff.
Something to do with a bus driver.
So learning and development, of course, we've had training here as long as we've been teaching people how to do their jobs. But specifically, we'll talk about the E3 program.
This woman is some kind of executive at TriMet. Boy, they have all this pork shit going on there.
And some of the components at this point. If you were here before 2008 or around about that time, you probably remember TriMet U. And when we had the Great Recession, TriMet decided to, among
the Great Fake Recession. That was another elite cash grab. Every time you have these things, it's an elite cash grab. Just like this Great Recession now. What happened? The rich got richer. That same thing happened then. You know, like that fucking piece of shit that's in Trump's Treasury Secretary. He put 1 million people out of their homes during that. These are all manufactured crises, okay? And that Great Recession, which had zero effect on the TriMet executive class, actually, it benefited them. They all got raised. That was when they got rid of fair and square. They took away our health benefits. They always have these excuses. And the public, being the morons they are, can't see through it. Just like I showed you in that article, the public can't see through these never-ending lies that are thrown at us.
With other cost-saving measures, eliminate the learning and development capability or function within TriMet.
The Great Recession. Remember when the gas prices skyrocketed and they raised fares because of that? I remember that. Well, when gas prices crashed, guess what? They didn't lower the fares. These people are parasites. All right, all of them. The only people that are at TriMet that are not parasites are the drivers, the mechanics, and their support mechanisms. Everybody else in TriMet, everybody up here on this list are parasites, right over here, all of them, because they do nothing for the public, nothing. They're sucking down public taxes and they're giving nothing back to the taxpayers. Nothing, including Dougie. Dougie's some kind of public relations guy.
Well, fortunately, as partly because of a result of feedback on the employee engagement survey that had to do with the survey item around the organization investing in its people and helping them grow and develop, there's a great interest and expressed need for that. So in late 2016, learning and development returned to TriMet, and that's when I joined the organization as well as program manager. So we launched the E3 program, which again, just if you take a look at the business plan, when you have an opportunity, it's supporting those people and innovation goals that we have to invest wisely in people. So when you hear about different learning and development opportunities, different classes, different online platforms, that's all a part of reinforcing part of TriMet's business plan, which we share with the public. And we work to develop all our goals around that. Next slide, Jeff. Oh, right. So a part of different systems that we have here is WebEx to help us stay connected. And we thought it would be a good practice, new learning, for us to try out some poll questions. So Jeff is going to be our poll meister, if you will. There was an article this week in the Express line as well that WebEx Meetings has this new poll feature. So for those of you who can see your screen, if you take a look, once Jeff brings up the poll, it should just pop up for you automatically. But if not, in the lower right-hand corner, you'll see 3 dots. You can click on that, and it should say polling, which you can then open up. So we'll go ahead and give this a try. Stretch our capabilities and curiosity here.
Come on, hurry up, get to it.
So
Okay,
poll question number 1.
What?
All right, great. So you're going to see this come up on your screen. And if not to worry, I'm going to read the questions to you too, so you get an idea of what it's about. And so that poll question, you can see on the right-hand side, hopefully. You have just a few seconds to complete that. Have you taken an E3 course? Yes, 10 or more classes. Yes, 2 to 9 classes. Yes, just 1 so far, or no, not yet. And so if you just click in that circle to select your answer and then submit it, we'll take a look at the results in just a few seconds. So while we're waiting for that time to wrap up, we use polling in a lot of the online classes, both external instructors as well as internal TriMet instructors. It's a new feature in terms of learning that we've been using to work to help you feel sort of more engaged, because a lot of that back and forth conversation is just pretty difficult from a technology standpoint when you're taking an online class. All right, the poll has ended. Jeff will be bringing up those results here.
Yep, WebEx is giving another 10 seconds for a few people to finish it, and then I'll be able to share those results.
Thanks. So this will be interesting to see how often and who, in general, from those who are attending.
So
okay, that's great. So a few not answered. So it looks like we have 192 people on the town hall. That's great. So, wow, we've had like a lot of people, the largest amount, take 2 to 9 classes, which is always good news for us. And quite a few people just taken 1, so not yet. So hopefully after
this is boring, move it along.
Something we get asked a lot. So it's engage, empower, and expand.
Oh, God, move it along.
Like to give is in talking with the recruiters, they've been a huge ally in terms of and supporter of learning and development. So, for example, when we have bus and rail operators that want to apply for dispatch, station agent jobs, training supervisor jobs, fare inspector jobs, etc., and maybe they're not selected, the recruiters do a great job of letting the candidates know, your score on Excel, your score on Outlook wasn't very strong. E3 program has classes for that you can take. You might want to work on your interviewing skills, maybe your decision-making processes, even your writing skills.
Okay, I hope that Rip City gets this far into this. I know this stuff is, it's not exactly exciting material. Nobody in their right mind would watch this. Only somebody like me, okay, who's like hooked on the TriMet shit. I wonder if that's actually true. Did you hear what she said there? That if you apply for these jobs, they tell you why you didn't get it and what you need to do. I wonder if that actually is true. I need somebody that's actually applied for one of these jobs to verify that.
Skills, because there are a lot of reports involved in some of those jobs. So I think that's a great way of thinking about how you can really, get engaged, empower yourself to build new skills and develop those skills as well. And then finally, we think of, expanding. So whatever that looks like for you, creating that resiliency, expanding your brain through neuroplasticity. So trying new things, learning new things, and building extra neurons in your brain is all promoting that intellectual wellness as well. So how can you find out about E3 training? It's on TriNet, and we have highlighted on the screen. The employee comm team has done a great job of making it really easy for you to find what the latest classes are. We put out an article once a month in ExpressLine with a month or so of upcoming classes, and you can just click on that link within TriNet to do that. Next slide, Jeff. So I've mentioned that we've really transitioned out of a need of social distancing to virtual instructor-led training. And we're converting a lot of our classes that are a part of E3 to online classes. We have external consultants that have quickly pivoted to provide their training externally. So I think it's very exciting. Certainly when we're able to, we're going to bring back the classroom training as well, but it's nice to have that balance for those folks that it's a little tricky to travel to and from center and occasionally Harrison Square, that you could, from a huddle room wherever you're located, or even sit down in your parked car and participate in a class if you'd like to. So I mentioned some computer training. So we do have Microsoft applications training that's available online and self-paced through New Horizons. That's no cost to you. You just need to request use control over your own learning path.
Okay, I don't know. Fuck this shit.
How?
Okay, let's listen to her.
And then you're gonna hit enter, and there you go. So here's where you will need to click the Open Sesame Plus bar each time you're searching. This allows for the free subscription content available to you to be featured. So it's very important. Each time you're searching, click that little bar over, and it should be orange. Okay, so here are all of the filters on the left-hand side. Now, these are the parameters in which you would like to search. So these might include category. You can see language. You can search for different modules in different languages. There's a more filters button, and then you can even do seat time. So if you only have time for a micro-learning, you can pop in a parameter from 1 to 10 minutes and go from there. But today, we are going to be exploring curated lists, and I will select
this
one. Okay, perfect. So here we have a curated list of 15 courses to choose from. These all fall under the parent category of harnessing the power of mind and body from TED Talks and TED Ed animations. So all of these courses will focus on mind, body, and they're all done through the TED program. So once you find a course you're interested in, you will simply click on the title to access it. Let's do this one. Okay, perfect. So this will pop up, and you can either click Course Demo to demo the course and make sure it's something that you're actually interested in. Or if you know and you're certain that you want to take the course, you can click on View Details. And this brings you to the course main frame. So here you can click on the Begin Course button, and that will start the course for you. So that's it. It's really easy. That's how you search and access content on Open Sesame, and we're so excited to have this as an option, and we hope you enjoy it. And I hope I see new requests soon coming in through the inbox. So that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Alex. That was great. Thank you for demoing that platform.
Deanne won't show her little face.
As Jeff moves us back to our slideshow, we're actually going to pull up a second question. I'll give Jeff just a second to get that going.
This is the boring
So now that we've looked at the Open Sesame.
Come on.
And it looks like that whole
I don't care.
Software application that allows
look at this. Yeah, look at her.
Documentation.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
Look at a diagram again. You can log into that.
This is. Do you really think any bus operators are using this?
But that can be, with your family.
Yeah, right.
And one of the best ways to apply what you've learned. What you'll do is
all right, jump to the end.
Require a policy change.
I'm not
maybe in the future.
I want to hear Doug. I don't want to hear you.
Really?
All right. Wait.
Actually has forced learning and development to think about more online options and really accelerating and making those available to TriMet employees. So if you can see a very, very faded silver lining to all the chaos that's happening in the world right now, this is a learning and development benefit in promoting that intellectual wellness as well. Okay, over to you, Doug. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, to Darcy,
share a bit.
Yeah, to Darcy, to Mimi, to Alex, Alexandria, and Sally, thank you for your leadership in this area. It's been actually really enjoyable for me to watch since the talented group has come on, the evolution of the program. But we're not at the end state yet, and we really are making a change. And hopefully, it's exciting. This work's going to continue. The agency needs that we need to retool. And this is another example of how we've been retooling over the last number of years. And there's a lot more retooling we got to go. So thank you so very much. And thanks for the questions. And I love the polling. That's really cool. So thank you. If you have questions, send them in to Deanne. We'll make sure we get them answered if something comes up once you get offline. Now, Deanne, I'd like to, it's 10:55 here, and we've got a chance for a few open questions if we want to zoom back up to at the sort of the corporate level if we can.
Yeah, absolutely. So we did have a couple of people write in about mask enforcement. One person in particular said, I feel like our customers will feel safer writing our system if we enforce mask wearing and wearing them correctly. Will we move to mask enforcement at some point? Even airlines are enforcing mask usage and removing folks from flights for not complying at this point.
Yeah, good point. Right now, again, we have connected ourselves to the Oregon Health Authority. That has not been a requirement for them. I think also some of our social distance requirements are actually greater than the airlines, where they're still, in some cases, packing them in pretty tight. One of the really big decisions here, frankly, and it's imperfect, I fully acknowledge that, these are trade-offs of managing risk. It's the risk of managing this, and I wish in a pure world everybody would follow the guidelines. And we actually have a very, very high compliance, really, as percentage. We're really dealing on the exceptions now side of things, which is great. On our customer side. But the other part that, frankly, I call them wake mares. They're not nightmares or dreams that kind of keep me awake. One of the ones for me is I do not want assault on operators. Yes, we have our bus safety panels here, or bus barriers, whichever you want to call them. But that's not a full protection. So part of this we have seen creates conflict. So part of this is it's that trade-off of if there was no assaults or confrontations that would come with enforcement, then it gets to an easier decision for me. So I don't want confrontations and assault here. So I'm hoping through us supplying the masks, which we are doing and airlines are not, we're supplying the sanitizer. Some airlines are, some aren't. That people will do the right thing and we really get to the risk side of highly exceptional management. And also there are reasons that people health-wise may not be able to wear a mask for reasons. So I want to make sure that they can also feel welcome on the system as opposed to being feeling alienated. They may have legitimate reasons to not have a mask for themselves, or well, I think the children are more obvious of 2 and under, if I recall. That's the case. So I don't ever want to say never. I do acknowledge it gets to the 100% confidence side of it, but I do think we're very much the exception side, and this is something we